I think a piece of wisdom I could give to anyone out there, whether you're launching a tech company next year or you're just looking to get ahead in your career, is go and build your community. Like, that is always going to become valuable. And nowadays, when AI is just making jobs just tougher than ever to hold on to and get new jobs, like, building out that community is the best gift you can give yourself.
All right, today's guest, bit of a LinkedIn genius, bit of a personal branding genius. I'm going to use genius too much, bit of a marketing genius, a B2B genius. Lindsay, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Liam. Had such a great time chatting about all things AI, LinkedIn marketing last time. So excited to dive in and talk about some cool stuff today.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about today's podcast, we spoke about this last time, what you've been building over the past 8 months or so. You've been kind of building up hype on LinkedIn. It's just released recently, a platform called Synnc. But before we actually get into the product or the service itself, I want to set some context as to where we're at and why this is important. So right now, we're kind of living through a moment where AI is eating every workflow, and LinkedIn is like the new front page of B2B. So personal branding has kind of gone from like nice to have to a bit of a non-negotiable. So before we get into what you're building, talk to me about like why now is the right moment for this to exist.
Yeah, for sure. I think you've hit it just nail on the head, Liam. There's two giant things happening right now. On one side, AI is just changing work as we know. Hiring is crazy. AI is doing everything. Jobs left and right are being lost. And they're like, how can we like build up like us and our brands and what we know and monetize our expertise and start building some things on the side, just going out there, looking for new ways to leverage what they know to build their audience and just monetize. And on the other hand, like B2B marketing as this wild crossroads. Like, I've been creating now on LinkedIn for nearly 2 years and seeing the creator economy just start to erupt in the B2B world is so cool and starting to mature. I mean, in the past, it was these static, boring ads. And now companies are really starting to tap into their people and also just people in the world that have a lot of trust. And it's working. It's interesting. It's fun. And I think it really taps into just a generational shift in how us younger Gen Z and even into millennials, we've grown up with content creation and consuming content from Instagram from day one. And now that we are not just in our careers, but starting to emerge in some decision-making roles, like, this is the marketing that we want to see. The real, the people, the authentic. And that's just really coming to LinkedIn, which is the platform for B2B marketing and just has some really cool nuances. So a lot of changes in the world right now when it comes to how we consume media, how hiring is, how jobs are, how brands are being built in B2B, which is just really exciting. And kind of the reason why I've been seeing it firsthand, me coming out there and building my career and building my company and building my brand, and just noticing that there's just some things lacking when it comes to tooling. And I'm just needed something to help build my own brand and monetize it. I'm like, let's just go out there and build something that everyone can also use as well.
I really want to dive into kind of how brands and like B2B influencers have changed maybe over the past 12 months as a time frame. What have you noticed? Because I know that you're in the weeds, you're creating every day. What have you noticed about how people create content and how B2B brands kind of present themselves? How has that changed in the past 12 months?
Yeah, the past 12 months, brands and creation on LinkedIn has changed 180. Like, absolutely has just completely changed. It's been a platform where it was only a few like niche creators and like cutting edge people creating content. And now it's normal professionals left and right are creating. And in the past, professionals weren't ever creating content. And that was for one specific reason. They're professionals with 9-to-5 jobs with absolutely zero time on their hands. Like, to go and create consistent content, they don't have time for that. They have their 9-to-5 job and they have their family and they need to sleep sometimes. And now with the rise of AI and the rise of these shifts and wanting to consume media and consume content that actually is interesting, there's this wonderful clash of more and more amazing people coming and creating content on LinkedIn. Not just people who are just creating content to create content, but people who have like really interesting point of views. I've absolutely loved seeing people who are head of sales at a giant company or head of marketing at this company starting to create content around their day-to-day jobs. Like, me as someone who is just eager to learn and eager to just grow and be able to learn from these incredible people all the time is amazing. And so I think we're really seeing a shift of the types of people even coming on and creating content, the quality of it. And that is what we really wanted to build. I'll go into a little more what we built is a place where these people, they build their careers and build up their brands, but then a way for these companies to tap into these audiences that are so rich and so amazing. Like these folks that are now starting to create content and have such amazing 9-to-5 jobs are great, but their audiences are like incredible. And there just really hasn't been a good way thus far to tap into those rich audiences.
You mentioned the words rich and you mentioned the words quality. What separates bad content from good content from really good content?
I think good content today has two really important pillars to it. One is credibility. That is, where is this value coming from? Especially when it comes to B2B content. Where is this coming from? Is this coming from your 9-to-5 job? Is this coming from you staying up extra to do like extra research and like explore things that are interesting to you and therefore could be interesting to others? Like, where is this content coming from? And where is that extra value and extra point of view that you have that others don't have? The other side that creates like good content today is kind of maybe a little bit interesting to say, but imperfection. I think the content that does well today is the content that's like a little bit imperfect. Like, for one in B2B, like we are so used to like this so polished and boring, like white papers and webinars. Like webinars, they're just like these things that are just overly polished. And so the stuff that's like imperfect is like, I think 100% better, especially nowadays. Have kind of subconsciously all trained ourselves. If we think it looks too perfect, it equals AI equals, therefore it's not valuable. And so if you can layer in some imperfection in your content, whether that's just like grammatical errors or some video that kind of just shows off your own personality mixed with like your credibility of like what you do in your 9-to-5 job every day, that to me is good content that I want to consume.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed like the kind of uprising of people just using like kind of standard Apple earphones and like speaking into the mic there, and those types of content does really well. And you're like, how is this doing better than someone that's bought a camera for $5,000 and has got all the professional lighting and everything else? It's a crazy switch around.
I think I saw a quote. I wish I remembered who said this, but like the best marketers just understand people. Like if you understand people and you understand what's interesting to them and like what's driving their decisions, like you can do well. So what's interesting to them is seeing kind of something weird on their feeds on LinkedIn they've never seen. And then they're like, wait, what is this? And it like captures their attention quickly. Like that's like the content that does well, the things that are like not what everyone else is doing.
I want to get more into this and in our topic, but I want to bring it back to what we're talking about today. So I want to set a hypothetical situation. I am going to be a new investor. I'm coming to speak to you about Synnc. Can you give me a 60-second elevator pitch about what it is?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Synnc is the B2B expertise marketplace. It is where brands come to connect with professionals for content and collabs, testimonials, and eventually even fractional work. As we discussed, there is such a change today when it comes to effective marketing and also people wanting to go out and build their brand and monetize it. We launched Synnc this week, like 2 days ago, and we built it from the ground up, from vision to product, for less than $100,000. And within 48 hours, we already had 10 brands already on, starting to create campaigns, and amazing professionals across some really incredible companies coming in. I've built this product through issues and problems that I had myself going on and creating content on LinkedIn and not having the tooling that I needed to connect to brands, and then speaking to brands and having them not be able to connect to effective professionals. And on the other hand, like my CTO has worked at Microsoft for 10 plus years, gone out and built companies up to 12 million ARR. He understands like AI and hacking and using new tools left and right to build like never before. And now being able to come in at this like most timely moment ever and really capitalize on the biggest shift that we're seeing in marketing ever, like B2B marketing. Like this is the shift. This is the moment for B2B marketing, and capitalize on LinkedIn and being able to go out and create something where professionals and connect to brands is Synnc. And yeah, excited to show you a little bit more about how it works today on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, without further ado, like let's just jump into it. I want to see behind the scenes. Show me behind the curtain, please.
Okay, so the experience is super simple on purpose. As a brand, you're able to come on and create a campaign. You're able to create it either from scratch, or you can talk to our wonderful AI agent where she helps you bring you through the process of going from zero to campaign. But for example, you can come in here, you can drop in your creative brief. Most companies already have this. They've spent a lot of time creating it. And then able to either, if you're dropping it in, it will automatically populate it for you, but adding in your company name, just some specific details around it, pick the creators you want in here, and then also your information that will be within the private, and then publish right away, able to have it live and either invite creators. You can come in here and discover a bunch of amazing creators that we have in our platform, and you can invite them, or they can have this live and they can invite themselves. So super, super seamless. And now from there, being able to jump in as a process for a creator is just as simple. You come on, you make your profile, you're able to actually talk to our AI person, which is incredible. And she brings you through the process of would be on a good profile in order to work with a brand for content collabs and more. And once you're similarly able to A, get invited by a brand, or B, go into the discover and see all the brands that have all their campaigns live. And once you're in a campaign, the process is super, super simple. This was basically the tooling that needs to be done to do a campaign with a brand is like Excel and Notion and LinkedIn and a bunch of other tools, like all brought into one. And so with using Synnc, you can have a partnership between a brand and a creator all in one place, whether that's from, starting your post proposal, doing your draft upload, feedback, approval, a live post link, impression upload, payment, and then having as a brand all of your analytics for all of your campaigns in one spot. Is just been game changer for brands working with Synnc. And so that's the process. Super simple, super streamlined, but being able to actually connect professionals and brands in one place for a super streamlined creator marketing experience.
Right. I've got 1,000,001 questions. I'm really curious, firstly, about pricing structure. So you kind of saw in that dashboard that you can set a campaign budget. How exactly do creators set their own rates? Is it based on a CPA basis? How does that work?
Yeah. When it comes to the B2B marketing world, like rates are really just specific to the creator and the brand. So usually how it works on the brand experience, for example, you come in as a brand and you define what your goals are for this campaign, like whether that's click-through, whether that's brand awareness, talking with the team and really deciding what A, your entire campaign budget is, and then B, what that looks for each creator in the campaign. What are you looking to achieve, and putting that into the creative brief. On the other side, it's like, as a creator, it's like, what's the numbers here? Like, what are people charging nowadays? And I think it's such the Wild West. Like, when you look at creators for TikTok and Instagram, it has been more of a mature industry. And so you can kind of look out there and see content around like what people are charging, what people aren't charging. It's still pretty hush hush. But when it comes to like what people are charging on the creator side in the B2B world, it is just higher numbers in general than what people are charging on the TikTok and Instagram world for one specific reason: the audiences. Like the audiences of these people, and when you select good audiences as a brand looking at different creators and professionals, it really comes down to who's in these audiences. And if content is going out through their LinkedIn's, it's like reaching like directly to specific decision makers, and not just to specific decision makers. Like, I'm sure, Liam, you can agree here. Like if you click on TikTok on your phone, which I don't think you even have TikTok, but if you did have TikTok, you would click on it and you would go to it's more like being entertained mindset. But if you click on LinkedIn on your phone, you go to it to learn something or buy a new tech or work with someone. And so it's a really valuable like point of view people come to. And so the numbers are higher, but it's still like very, very much the Wild West. And you also like mentioned a couple other platforms that are out there today. And I think it's amazing because this industry is so new and so cutting edge, and it's awesome to see other like tooling and tech coming up around this. And something that we are just so excited on at Synnc to focus on is not just even like the top 1% influencers. Like I've been creating content now on LinkedIn for 2 years and been able to make like an amazing community of amazing marketers. But what we're really excited about is just like the 99%. And what we're really focused on is the 99% of every professional out there that has just this really valuable smaller audience that's just really, really awesome. Instead of just focusing on these larger creators, like focusing on the next 99%, the rest of the iceberg is what we kind of are focusing on at our mission at Synnc.
Talk to me about who's a good fit for the platform both on the enterprise side of things and then the influencer side of things? And then maybe if there's another part to that question who's not a good fit as well.
Yeah. Yeah. When it comes to the brand side, anyone who's looking to have their message be on LinkedIn. And so whether they're looking to reach decision makers that are like marketing decision makers or, CXO level, like if that is the people you're looking to reach, then Synnc is the place for you. Like that's where our audience is. That's where the posts are going to be. Like that is like the type of company. So whether you're all the way enterprise level or whether you're just a freshly funded AI SaaS startup, like this is the place for you to connect with really valuable, amazing professionals that have amazing audiences in order to get your message and your brand across. On the creator professional side, anyone that's looking to like monetize their audiences and work with those type of brands. I think it's so, like I mentioned, it's such an untapped industry. And I think it really hasn't resonated yet that if you have a 9-to-5 job, like you have expertise and you have cred and brands are really wanting to like work with you. And so if you have a 9-to-5 job, if you are a professional and you're wanting to start work with really cool brands, like that's the way to go. And what's really cool too, and I think something that is not as tapped into right now is obviously we all know about content collaborations with brands. Like we've all seen it across platform and now just starting to see it, just starting to bubble on LinkedIn. But if you don't have an audience, like you are still like so valuable to brands. Like brands can have you come in and do testimonials that live on a website. Brands can have you come in and do podcasts, come speak at speaking events. And eventually what we're offering is even fractional work. And so even if you don't have an audience period and you still have credibility through your 9-to-5 job, it's still worth coming on and looking to collaborate with some brands on some pretty cool stuff.
Can you double click into that for me? Because like my perception of it initially was that it would just be, here's a sponsored LinkedIn post. Okay, pay me X amount and then I'll make that post. Talk to me about the testimonials, all of those other kind of features that you just mentioned there. What do you currently have and what do you want to have available in the future?
I mean, that's why we've really coined us as like the B2B expertise marketplace, being able to be like this go-to-market engine using professionals. And with go-to-market engines, it's like, sure, like content collabs is a huge, huge way in order to get in front of the right audiences and the right eyeballs to come and use your product. But go-to-market isn't just content collabs. It's helping with getting the right vision and the right ideas from a fractional work CMO or getting you're going to a landing page. You want to see amazing testimonials. You want to see faces and quotes. You want to see a video of someone hopping on and being like, yeah, I actually work at XYZ company and I've used this tool. Like, I love this tool. Like, this tool is amazing and this is how I use it in my workflow. And that content is valuable too. Like, that is like so important for any company looking to go to market, is having not just content living on LinkedIn, but across other channels, across their websites and beyond, even when it comes down to UGC content. And so being really that expertise marketplace where even if you don't have a giant audience, you can come and monetize the credibility and the expertise that you have.
For a marketplace to work, you need to have people on the site. How is this first week or two of launch been and getting people actually on the platform?
It's been really, really awesome. I mean, I've been building my community now for 2 years, and I've built out and like really scaled a marketing agency and worked with amazing global top brands to create video content. And it's just been amazing to be able to build this thing up. And then now to be able to launch a tech company and leverage it for something that is extremely useful and valuable to me, and then be able to go and give it to other professionals and creators. It's been, let's just say, a whirlwind of a week when it comes to meetings and conversations and bringing brands into the fold. Just really, really awesome. Marketplaces are tough. Like, you're not just like solving like a problem for one type of person. It's like basically launching 2 companies at once, in my opinion, because you have 2 different audiences you're bringing on. But I think a piece of wisdom I could give to anyone out there, whether you're launching a tech company next year or you're just looking to get ahead in your career, is go and build your community. Like, that is always going to become valuable. And nowadays, when AI is just making jobs just tougher than ever to hold on to and get new jobs, like, building out that community is the best gift you can give yourself. And it takes a little bit of time to build up and really start to have people come in and walk alongside you in the process. But that community has been something that's just been huge for my success. And then anyone who's gone out and leveraged it themselves. I mean, you and I have been creating on LinkedIn consistently now for a long time, and it's a grind, but there's no better insurance. There's no better career insurance out there than going out and building up your community, especially on LinkedIn. There's a really big opportunity to do that right now.
Yeah, we've been doing the newsletter for 2 years. It's a back and forth conversation Monday to Friday, and you completely own that pipeline as well. So I can completely speak to the power of owning that audience and having that relationship as well. It's not relying on an external platform, but having that relationship yourself. It's incredibly important when you're in that kind of trust building process. Out of those people that you've built that trust with in the community and these like kind of initial conversations over the past couple of weeks about the platform, what sort of feedback have you got from people? What do they like about it? Maybe what do they not like about it? What are people excited about? What are people scared of?
The overwhelming response is like, I don't have to manage like 7 tools and it all lives in one spot. Like, are you serious? Like, thank you. I think that's just been kind of the overwhelming response. And then I think the number 2 response is like, oh my gosh, the timing for this is insane. Like the fact that you're building this right now is really, really cool. And then thirdly, I think is like, did not know that you were coming out with this, which is cool. I think nowadays there is such an opportunity to use AI, and I have an amazing tech team, an amazing CTO, but we've used, and we can get into this tomorrow, but we've used AI to expedite the process like crazy. And whether you're technical or not, there has never been an easier time to go out there and take the problems that you're facing every single day and actually like make some technology around it to help yourself. And if you're going to be customer number 1, that's the best, because the whole quote is if you can find one customer, you can find others. And having yourself be like customer number 1 and use the product yourself, and then therefore there's other people that are going to use it too. That's been just a couple of the things I've like been able to kind of talk through. I've talked to about 1 million people this week about the technology and bring different folks on, but it's been an overwhelming, just like amazing response. And it's been so cool having everyone jump in and start using it for their campaigns.
Take me back to your customer number 1 story. Take me back to the point where this was just like a seedling of an idea and how that developed into something more concrete over time.
If you live in the B2B marketing world, you know how clunky like this process can be. And I remember just seeing so much of this conversation earlier last year around like what tools are out there, like what are people using, like is there any tools out there? A lot of my conversations on the earlier end was even Sarah Adam at Wix. Like I love her content around, and we've got to hop on a couple of cool podcasts and have a lot of really amazing conversations around like what is she using, like what are your workflows, and then even her, like she's just been amazing about posting kind of her point of view and then starting those interesting industry conversations around it. And so talking to her earlier on and then going in and talking to a lot of different brands that I've been working with, I've been able to work with such amazing brands over the past year or so of tools and AI tooling that I just love myself, and being like, I mean, for example, we're on Riverside right now. And I think I like hassled the Riverside team to be like, okay, I use Riverside for every one of my calls. Like, can we please like work together? And so being able to talk to just different teams, different brands of teams that I really like and like what they need when it comes to making a better process with this. And that has really just been like just the driving factor to like make this whole thing happen and really just align with what's needed today out there.
What was your emotional state when you took it from an idea and you decided that you were going to execute on it as building a product? You were like, I'm going to look for developers or a CTO or someone to help me with this. Like, how did you feel at that point? Were you terrified, scared, excited?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a big leap. Like my process as becoming a founder has been like a really fast, amazing one. Like I started my podcast back in college, like from my college dorm room. Like we would have waits at like 6 a.m. and I'd be at like 5 a.m. talking to someone in Europe about what's happening next in fintech. And my roommates in college would be like, well, I don't know. They call me Rosie. I don't know what Rosie's doing, but she's on like some call with someone, like who knows? And so I've beginning talking to like cool like thought leaders around the world back in college, which really started my marketing agency and starting to build out my podcast, and then went into content from really, really early on. And being able to see just the value of like putting myself out there and learning and growing fast. Like I was graduating right around when ChatGPT came out and being like, oh my gosh, this is huge. Like let's put the podcast around this, let's put everything around this, and just being able to learn and grow just extremely fast, and going from podcast to agency to big agency to like starting to do brand collabs, being like, there's a problem here. Like, can we do anything to fix it? Like there is like the same way I'm telling you this was the same thing I was looking at last year of like, there's content creators on LinkedIn. Like this has never been happening. There's a billion people on LinkedIn, like, but now people are creating content. This is going to be really hugely valuable. And seeing like thought leaders, like for one, like Armand Ruiz, one of like huge at IBM, creates content around AI. And in the course of like 4 or 5 years, went from I forget his role, but all the way up to like VP of like the AI platform at IBM, and just seeing the value of the playbook of like that type of career, and being like, other people are going to see this soon. And sure enough, like more people are creating, more brands are coming in here, either for more money, more spend, more eyeballs. And at the same time, I've been creating video content here for 2 years. And then last year, having LinkedIn starting to lean into video content and better algorithms. And I'm just like, I've always had like a keen ability to like look ahead of like, what's the trend and like, where's the money going to be continue to flow, and seeing this like trends and seeing these eyeballs and seeing this content and seeing the money starting to flow through the platform, and being like, this is like the time to build this. And now be able to have an amazing tech partner to come in and like build it alongside me, and then have some other amazing people in our team. Like, I think going back to your question, like the feelings has just been excitement of like wanting to get out there. And now this week being like literally launch week, talking to a million people about this tech. I think it's really been excitement towards the opportunity and just the scale at which the amount of brands and the amount of revenue flowing through this new era and this new industry has just been really, really cool.
Tell me about the process of building. How involved were you in the actual technical aspect of it? What was maybe something that was like easier than you expected it to be, and what was something that was way harder than you expected it to be?
Yeah, let me tell you. So I'm not technical by nature, and it's been so interesting, like being in the process of this all, because okay, so when we started building this last year, like, of course, there was AI tools out there to help code. Like, that's amazing, but they weren't good. I mean, it's the same idea as with ChatGPT, the first versions. Like, you'd get a piece of copy out and you'd still be like, ooh, this is not good. Like, as a marketer, like, you would really have to go in and do a lot. And now as a marketer, you can, like, get some output spot from Claude or ChatGPT, and they're, like, pretty dang good. The same thing's happening with software right now. Tools like Bolt and Lovable. Like Bolt has expedited our software development faster than ever. Like we were fast. We've always been fast. But the speed at like when these tools like Bolt came out was like from like here to like literally here. And it's been so cool learning through the process as a non-technical person, and being in to come in now and actually use tools like Bolt and like have more of a hand in the process and like the designing and the thinking through, and not just like making mock-up screenshots on Canva and Figma, but actually being able to be really more integrated into the process is huge for technical people because they can move a lot faster, but also huge for business and marketing minded people. They can come in and actually have more of a say, because all we do as marketers is just understand the psychology of humans and how things are going to land with humans and how this works versus this work, and being able to kind of come together with a technical team and be able to leverage more of the minds of what this works on the business side, which this works on the technical side, talk to developers and everything has just expedited development, but just expedited everything, like expedited effectiveness of technology, because it's just, we can go so much faster. It's no longer like you give an idea and they give mock-ups 3 days later, and then they give you some interesting code a handful of days later, and then it's like, oh, here's actually some more feedback, let's start over again. It's like within hours now. And so it's been really, really an amazing experience with on the AI side of things. But it's never been better to have AI tools, but then it's also never been better for developers and technical people that are really, really quick-witted because they can use great tools. And I mean, I mentioned earlier, but my CTO has worked at Microsoft for 10 years and gone out and built his own startups to 12 million ARR plus. And so he's no stranger in like building out amazing software and building it fast. But when you can take that type of person that's just so incredible and so just intelligent and pair them with like tools like this, they become even more cracked. And it's just been really, really a cool experience.
AI has obviously sped up your development process tenfold. What does the AI experience look like on the user side of things? You kind of mentioned before that there was this agent you could kind of speak to and help develop your campaigns. Is there any other AI integrations? What does that look? Are you making it using Synthesia? Talk to me about why you decided to use AI in the client side of things as well.
When it comes to like effectively connecting everyone, AI is just like such a go-to. Like, and it's not even becoming like a nice to have. It's just integrated and people are kind of expecting it, using a better AI experience. And we use it on a couple different fronts, obviously, like helping you get from like 0 to 1 with creating your profile, whether you're a creator or a brand. If you're a creator, it's like they come on and they ask you more about your background, where your expertise lie, like what are the things you're looking for, which is super helpful, especially as a lot of these folks that aren't traditional creators don't know the system and don't know things you can do inside out, like creators that create every single day. And same thing with brands. Brands come on and they can just throw in their creative brief they already have, because most marketing teams, by the time they're like launching a campaign, they already have done some planning. But being able to throw in that creative brief and then talk to it with the AI person within like 5 minutes and have it even more like ready to go and ready to gear towards like the professionals, and then having AI be able to understand what the brands are looking for and also what these professionals have for expertise in their background, and then be able to connect them together through AI matching. And what's something that's just so exciting about Synnc is the more creators that come on and the more brands and the more campaigns only like strengthens like our AI for better matching and understanding what works better, and even coming down into the analytics of what campaigns, and then eventually better recommendations into, okay, like this worked great for past campaigns, like try this one for more for this campaigns. Really just having the AI recommendation engine just get better and better with every single use of Synnc. So it's been amazing on like our side building it, but also just creating a better overall user experience.
Yeah, I mean, on the user experience part, I think one of the biggest problems we have as a business, right, is miscommunication with agencies that we use. For example, we might use an agency for social media, we might use them for the newsletter, we might use them for different parts. And always the biggest problem is some degree of miscommunication. And I think it's really interesting to have AI as part of your process as like a voice of truth. Client has said this thing and the user said this thing. Here's the truth. Here's where you match on this. So there can be no form of miscommunication. And I think beyond even your platform, the UAE recently introduced AI to kind of like help draft like their their legal kind of documents for their entire country as like a voice of truth, so that no more miscommunication is happening. So it's working in ways that like I never first kind of even conceived of or expected, but it is really good to have that as like an intermediary in your platform as well.
In my opinion, anytime AI should come in and expedite the process, like it should. Like I think it's like becoming, like I mentioned, not a nice to have, but a must. Like allowing these people to focus on like better campaigns with that are like more human, more authentic. Like why are we like starting from scratch? Like no one's starting from scratch anymore when it comes to like marketing. Like that's not what marketers should be focused on. And I think that just makes us better marketers and better whatever. It doesn't matter the industry, but like if AI can take us from 0 to 1, and then we can use our really unique expertise to really take it from that next level, where in the past it would take us like 80% of our time just to get from 0 to 1, and then we couldn't really fully leverage that 20%. That just makes us so amazing. And it's cool to see these use cases across industry. Like, yes, we're using it at Synnc, but then across industries, it's making all of us and just really making humanity better, which is really cool.
I want to take things outside of Synnc, or kind of related to Synnc, but outside of Synnc for a moment, and more to you as an individual. You're crushing it on LinkedIn. You're still assumedly working with a bunch of your clients, and you're also building this new B2B platform, building new tech. How on earth do you find the time for everything? How have you adapted to like moving towards this new platform? Are you having to use your platform to switch your clients onto it as a method of time saving? Talk to me about how you're managing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes down to really great tooling, processes, and team. When it comes to, let's start with team. Like, I think everyone wishes that they could duplicate themselves and have another one of you. And I feel lucky enough that I have duplicated myself. Like, my sister is like literally me, and so bringing her into the team, like, that's been like a double X. Like, honestly, probably more like a 10x. So team's amazing, and then processes, like, she's an operational, like, just god, like, being able to come around and like operationalize everything, because we were running a really, really lean, but be able to come in and like make the operations amazing, and then partner with tools. Like, this is not sponsored, but like, I live in ClickUp. Like, ClickUp, I don't know if you've ever used it. It's just like basically the everything tool, and we have everything in our everything tool of ClickUp, all our processes, like all our business and stuff. And then there's a bunch of other tools that like we're leveraging like crazy. And so I think when you have a good team, you have good processes and you have good tooling, and then you also just work like really, really hard, and you like work smart and you work fast. I think that's, for me, what I've always noticed is like the more on your plate, it doesn't, if you like add 10 things onto your plate, it isn't like 10x. It actually like maybe just 2x's, because when you're moving fast and you're like delivering a lot, you start to think more clearly, and you start to learn faster, and you start to understand, and you can conceptualize faster. And so for me, when I have like more on my plate, like, I feel like I can do like better work, because I'm talking to more people, I'm like learning faster, I'm delivering more. You're so clued in to like what's happening in the world and the newest trends, and how people are looking to move quicker and move faster, that you can deliver at like a really amazing pace and just like a really level of clarity. And so that's all been great. And then lastly, my setup, I have a stand-up desk and walking pad, and I talk about it way too much, but I think I live on the walking pad. Like, I don't think I sit down very much as I sit in this chair during this podcast. But I think I think also like being able to think clearly also comes down to like having really great health. I know health is this big thing like in the tech world right now, but I do really like play into it. I think like sleeping a good amount, and then obviously like moving your body, like eating healthy, I think just creates just a really great foundation to be able to capitalize on all the other things I just talked about before then. But yeah.
Tie those both together to me to finish off. What is the North Star for the business? Where do you see this in a couple of years? And then where do you see yourself in a couple of years?
Well, our goal is to get 100,000 creators and 200 brands in here ASAP, because we just believe it's just the more folks on the platform at once, the better, everything just works better. Our AI works better, better opportunities, better professionals for brands to work with. And so really going in on growth, on users coming in. And I think that's the Synnc goal. But when it comes to just overall what's happening in B2B marketing and the B2B creator economy, I think it's just really about to explode. Seeing traces of just the most giant companies coming in and starting to do spend around their own people, and also spend around other people, starting to do collaborations and everything, whether that's Microsoft, IBM, LinkedIn. Like, we've all seen the promoted posts from these big guys on LinkedIn, and starting to see the flow of spend, more creators, better content, more eyeballs. Just the flywheel of it is just pretty easy to see. And so really excited to see this industry just really surge, and just to see some better content out there. I think there's a really cool opportunity for new people to kind of come in and create some really awesome stuff that's interesting, educational, and just entertaining, as well. So yeah, a lot of things happening in the space of B2B marketing that it's fun to kind of keep a pulse on.
And we talked about this before, but like something I'd love to see from you personally is like a kind of peek behind the scenes of like how you're building this in your life, and like what are your goals, and who is Lindsay, like why are you using a walking pad, like a standing desk, what does that look like? So you've told me the kind of goals for the business, but where do you see yourself in 3 years? Do you see yourself geographically in the US? Do you see yourself running this business and doing other things? Like, what's your personal goals?
Yeah, for one, like definitely thinking about doing some more behind the scenes content. Like, we are delivering like such cool things like so fast that I think it'd be kind of fun to give kind of a look behind the curtain of like what's going on and behind Synnc and all of our agency work and everything. So maybe we'll start seeing some longer form stuff, some behind the scenes stuff on LinkedIn and maybe even YouTube beyond. We'll see where we kind of decide to go with that, because I think that's pretty fun. I mean, I enjoy seeing more founder stories behind the scenes of what people are doing, what people are building. When it comes to like what's next, like for me, I think for me, just really centered around like learning and growing and pushing myself is something that just gives me so much joy and purpose, whether that's like reading the newest white paper here or finding this new piece of content I get excited about and want to do my own spin on. Building a new business because I just really see a need for the technology for myself. And I know fellow creators and professionals. I think I really seek out of like where the markets are going, like what's super interesting, where's the flow of money, and B, like what's needed as a solution to fix it, and like how can I go and build it, and who can I partner with. I'm very like collab focused, like partnership focused, like who is out there to like help me come and do this together so we can go further and faster. And so I think whatever comes next, I think I'm really heads down right now building Synnc, but I think that's always going to be like kind of the vision and the mindset and the gameplay to go out and build out this stuff.
Lindsay, I want to thank you for your time, first of all. And second of all, if people want to kind of learn more about you, what you do, or Synnc itself, where can they find that?
Yeah. People, I create sometimes 2 videos a day on LinkedIn about me, my business, like cool marketing trends that like you need to see like ASAP in order to use for a company. So you can find me at Lindsay Rosenthal on LinkedIn, or please go sign up, whether you're a professional or a brand, on sync.us, SYNNC.us, US. Sync us together. So yeah, you can find me there, or you can go hop on Synnc and find out all the cool opportunities there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Liam.